What if I told you that turning 80 isn't the beginning of decline, but the start of your most authentic chapter yet? Right now, someone watching this just celebrated their 80th birthday feeling anxious about what comes next. Another viewer is approaching this milestone with dread, convinced their best years are behind them. But here's what nobody's telling you: the changes that happen at 80 aren't just inevitable, they're revolutionary. I'm about to reveal 5 transformations that occur when you turn 80. Not medical conditions or problems to solve, but powerful shifts that can unlock levels of freedom, wisdom, and authenticity you've never experienced. The 5th transformation? It might just be the most liberating thing that can happen to a human being. These aren't scary declines to fear, they're evolutionary upgrades designed by life itself. When you understand what's really happening at 80, you'll stop fighting these changes and start leveraging them for the most fulfilling decade of your life. Are you ready to discover why turning 80 might be the best thing that ever happened to you? The first transformation at 80 completely revolutionizes how your body operates, and it's not what you think. This isn't about having less energy, it's about your energy becoming incredibly refined and purposeful, like a luxury sports car that's been fine-tuned for optimal performance. Here's what's actually happening: your circadian rhythm shifts into what researchers call advanced sleep phase. Your body naturally wants to sleep around 8 p.m. and wake at 5 a.m. Your energy peaks sharpen dramatically, you'll have laser-focused morning power, steady afternoon productivity, and a pronounced 2 p.m. recharge period that's your body's way of saying pause and reset. This isn't fatigue, it's your body operating with 80 years of wisdom, finally knowing exactly when to conserve energy and when to unleash it. Meet Dorothy, 81, who spent 2 years fighting her new rhythm. She'd force herself to stay awake until 11 p.m., then struggle through groggy mornings, convinced something was wrong with her. Her doctor gave her life-changing advice: stop fighting your body and start partnering with it. Dorothy redesigned her entire life around her natural energy patterns. She now wakes at 5:30 a.m. for her golden hours, meditation, journaling, and correspondence when her mind is sharpest. She schedules important phone calls and decision-making for mid-morning. Social activities happen in early afternoon, followed by her guilt-free 20-minute recharge break. The result? Dorothy accomplished more in 6 months than she had in the previous 2 years. She started a neighborhood newsletter, learned watercolor painting, and began mentoring young professionals, all because she stopped fighting her body and started optimizing around it. Here are the 3-step energy revolution. Step 1, the Energy Detective Week. Track your energy for 7 days. Note when you feel most alert, when concentration peaks, and when you naturally feel tired. This isn't about what you think should happen, it's about discovering your body's new optimal operating system. Step 2, the Priority Realignment. Restructure your day to match your energy peaks. Schedule demanding tasks during your high-energy windows. Save routine activities for lower energy periods. This single change can double your productivity and satisfaction. Step 3, the Sacred Sleep Ritual. Honor your new natural bedtime by creating a consistent wind-down routine. Dim lights an hour before sleep, eliminate screens, and embrace this earlier schedule as a gift, not a limitation. Here's the paradigm shift that changes everything: your 80-year-old body isn't broken or declining, it's operating with unprecedented efficiency. You're no longer burning energy on unnecessary activities. Instead, you're channeling it with laser precision toward what matters most. Think of it this way: a master chef doesn't need to frantically rush around the kitchen because they know exactly when to start each dish, when to let things simmer, and when to turn up the heat. Your body has become a master chef of energy management. When you stop trying to maintain your 60-year-old schedule and start optimizing around your 80-year-old wisdom, you'll discover something remarkable: you actually have more meaningful, productive days than ever before. You're not doing less, you're doing what matters most, when you're best equipped to do it. The question isn't whether these energy changes will happen, they're already beginning. The question is, will you fight them and feel exhausted, or embrace them and feel energized? The second transformation at 80 is perhaps the most misunderstood: your social world doesn't shrink, it gets upgraded. This isn't about becoming isolated, it's about your brain finally developing the wisdom to distinguish between relationships that drain you and those that energize you. At 80, you'll experience what psychologists call socio-emotional selectivity. Your tolerance for superficial connections plummets while your appreciation for authentic relationships skyrockets. You'll find yourself naturally gravitating away from obligation-based social activities and toward connection-based ones. This evolution serves a crucial purpose: your emotional energy becomes precious, and your brain guides you toward relationships that provide genuine support, understanding, and joy. It's not social decline, it's social optimization. Consider Marcus, who at 82 was devastated when his weekly bridge club disbanded. For 15 years, this group had been his primary social outlet. When health issues and family relocation scattered the members, Marcus felt like he was losing his entire social identity. But then something beautiful happened. Marcus volunteered at the local community college, helping adult learners with basic computer skills. There, he met other volunteers in their 70s and 80s who shared his passion for helping others succeed. These new friendships were built around shared purpose rather than shared routine. Marcus discovered that conversations with these new friends were more energizing and meaningful than many of his previous social interactions. They understood his current life stage, shared similar values about making a difference, and provided the kind of emotional support that comes from genuine understanding. Simultaneously, Marcus's relationships with his adult children deepened. As he became more selective about his social energy, he invested more intentionally in family relationships, leading to richer, more honest conversations than they'd had in years. Here are the 4 pillars of social evolution. Pillar 1: Permission to let go. Give yourself complete permission to let some relationships naturally fade without guilt. Not every friendship needs to last forever, and trying to maintain every social connection from your past will exhaust your energy for building meaningful present connections. Pillar 2: Purposeful connection seeking. Actively seek new relationships with people who share your current interests, values, and life stage. Join groups focused on activities that energize you, volunteer for causes you care about, or take classes in subjects that fascinate you. Pillar 3: Depth over breadth. Invest more time in relationships that genuinely energize you. A meaningful 2-hour conversation with one person often provides more satisfaction than an entire day of superficial social activities. Pillar 4: Quality conversation mastery. Embrace your new capacity for deeper, more honest conversations. At 80, you have the freedom to discuss what really matters rather than making small talk about weather and superficial topics. This social evolution isn't about becoming antisocial or giving up on new relationships. Many people at 80 report that their friendships become more honest, supportive, and emotionally satisfying than they've ever been. You're not losing your social world, you're refining it into something far more valuable. The third transformation at 80 is revolutionary. Your entire relationship with time undergoes a complete metamorphosis that can be more liberating than anything you've experienced since childhood. This isn't about running out of time, it's about finally understanding what time is actually for. At 80, you experience what researchers call time perspective shift. Days might feel different because your energy operates on new rhythms, but paradoxically, you become extraordinarily selective about how you spend each precious moment. The constant urgency that drove your earlier decades gets replaced by intentional choice-making. Social expectations that once felt mandatory, keeping up appearances, maintaining certain standards just for show, pleasing people who don't really add value to your life, suddenly feel completely optional. This shift brings unprecedented liberation. You start saying no to what drains you and yes to what feeds your soul, often for the first time in your adult life. Ruby's transformation at 83 shocked everyone who knew her. For 40 years, she'd been the perfect church member, serving on every committee, organizing countless events, maintaining social obligations that had gradually become exhausting rather than fulfilling. She realized she was spending most of her limited energy on activities that felt more like duty than joy. Ruby made a radical decision. She stepped down from all committee positions and started spending Sunday mornings in her garden, which had always been her true passion but something she'd never had time to properly enjoy. She began volunteering at the community garden one day per week, where she could share her knowledge with younger gardeners and work with her hands in the soil. Her family initially worried she was giving up or becoming isolated. Instead, Ruby reported feeling more energized and purposeful than she had in years. She had stopped spending time on obligations and started investing it in what genuinely mattered to her. Her relationships improved because people were finally meeting the authentic Ruby rather than the performed version. Here are the 4 dimensions of time revolution. Dimension 1, the Energy-Time Alignment Audit. Conduct a brutally honest assessment of your typical week. Categorize activities into 3 groups: energizing, neutral, and draining. Look for patterns. You might discover you're spending 60% of your time on activities that drain you while giving only 20% to what energizes you. Dimension 2, the Liberation Practice. Master the art of saying no without explanation or apology. "That doesn't work for me" becomes a complete sentence. Practice declining requests that don't align with your genuine priorities. Each no to something unimportant is a yes to something meaningful. Dimension 3, the Authenticity Investment. Dramatically increase time spent on activities that bring deep satisfaction, even if they're not traditionally productive. Reading poetry, watching birds, having long phone conversations with people you love, pursuing creative projects, these aren't frivolous, they're investments in your authentic self. Dimension 4, the Wisdom Action Protocol. Use your new time perspective for important conversations and experiences you've been postponing. At 80, you have both the wisdom to know what matters and the freedom to act on it. Don't wait for the right time, this is the right time. The most beautiful aspect of this transformation is that it often leads to more authentic fulfillment than many people have ever experienced. When you stop living according to others' timelines and start honoring your own, everything becomes intentional and meaningful. You're not managing time anymore, you're crafting a life. The 4th transformation at 80 involves your memory and thinking processes, but it's not the simple decline that most people fear. Instead, your brain undergoes a sophisticated reorganization that's actually quite remarkable. You trade certain abilities for others, and the trade-off might be the best deal your brain ever makes. Yes, short-term memory becomes less reliable. You might walk into a room and forget why you came, or struggle to remember a name that was just mentioned. But here's what's fascinating: while your brain becomes less efficient at temporarily holding new information, it often becomes dramatically better at accessing and connecting long-term memories in meaningful, insightful ways. At 80, many people report that memories from decades ago become incredibly vivid and detailed. More importantly, your brain excels at seeing patterns and connections between experiences that younger, faster minds miss entirely. You're essentially shifting from a high-speed information processor to a sophisticated wisdom synthesis system. Carlton, now 84 and a retired engineer, was initially frustrated when he realized he could no longer quickly memorize technical specifications like he used to. But he discovered something remarkable. When his adult son consulted him about complex work problems, Carlton could almost instantly see solutions that eluded younger, technically sharper colleagues. Carlton's brain was no longer optimized for memorizing new data, but it had become incredibly sophisticated at recognizing patterns and connecting seemingly unrelated concepts. His decades of experience had created neural pathways that allowed for insights that pure processing speed couldn't match. Carlton learned to leverage his new cognitive strengths brilliantly. He started keeping a small notebook for day-to-day details, freeing his mental energy for the deeper thinking he was now better at than ever. He joined a community advisory board where his pattern recognition abilities proved invaluable for long-term planning decisions. Here is the 4-part cognitive optimization strategy. Part 1. Externalize routine storage. Use calendars, lists, and notes for daily details so your mental energy can focus on complex thinking. This isn't admitting defeat, it's strategic resource allocation. Your brain wants to do higher-level work now. Part 2. Leverage pattern recognition strengths. Engage in activities that draw on your new superpowers: strategy games, mentoring younger people, or complex problem-solving that benefits from life experience. Your 80-year-old brain excels at seeing the big picture. Part 3. build on existing knowledge. Maintain cognitive challenge through learning that expands your existing knowledge base rather than trying to master completely unfamiliar skills. Your brain is optimized for deepening wisdom, not acquiring random new information. Part 4. Embrace wisdom speed trading. Recognize that your thinking style has evolved, not deteriorated. You're now optimized for insight rather than speed, wisdom rather than quick recall, deep understanding rather than surface-level processing. Your 80-year-old brain is specialized differently than your 30-year-old brain, and in many ways, it's specialized better for the kinds of decisions and insights that matter most at this life stage. You might not remember where you put your reading glasses, but you can instantly recognize bad advice, see through complicated situations to what's really happening, and make decisions that account for subtleties that would escape quicker but less experienced minds. The fifth transformation at 80 is the most surprising and, for many people, the most wonderful. You experience a level of personal freedom and authenticity that you may never have felt before in your entire life. This isn't just about caring less what others think, it's about finally becoming who you truly are, perhaps for the first time ever. At 80, many of the external pressures that shaped your earlier decisions simply evaporate. You're no longer trying to build a career, impress colleagues, or meet societal expectations about success. Your children are grown, your major life responsibilities are largely complete, and suddenly you have permission, perhaps for the first time, to live according to your own values and desires. This freedom manifests in remarkable ways. You might find yourself expressing opinions you've held privately for years, pursuing interests that others always thought were impractical, or making choices that prioritize your happiness over convention. The fear of judgment that once influenced so many decisions becomes almost irrelevant. Constance's transformation at 82 perfectly illustrates this awakening. She had spent her entire adult life as what everyone considered the proper minister's wife, conservative in dress, careful in speech, always putting others' needs before her own. She had suppressed her love of art and creativity to fit the role everyone expected. At 82, Constance decided she was done performing propriety. She started wearing colorful clothing that expressed her personality, took up painting with bold, abstract styles, and began speaking her mind in ways that surprised everyone who knew her. Rather than becoming difficult or unpleasant, Constance became more vibrant and engaging than she'd ever been. Her family was initially startled by the changes, but they quickly realized that this more authentic version of Constance was actually more fun to be around. Her grandchildren especially loved this grandmother who painted wild pictures and told them exactly what she thought about everything. Constance had finally given herself permission to be herself. Here are the 4 pathways to authentic freedom. Pathway 1: The expectation inventory. Identify areas where you've been living according to others' expectations rather than your own values. Make a list of roles you've been performing versus aspects of yourself you've been suppressing. This awareness alone is transformative. Pathway 2: The permission protocol. Give yourself explicit, written permission to make choices based on what brings you genuine satisfaction rather than what seems appropriate or expected. Post this permission where you can see it daily. Pathway 3: The authentic expression experiment. Start small, express genuine opinions in low-stakes conversations, wear clothing that reflects your personality, pursue hobbies that energize you regardless of whether they seem age-appropriate. You might be surprised by how positively people respond to the real you. Pathway 4: The growth adventure. Use this freedom as an opportunity for exploration and growth. What have you always wanted to try but felt you couldn't or shouldn't? Now is the perfect time. Your 80-year-old self has earned the right to pursue joy without justification. The most remarkable aspect of this change is that many people report feeling more like themselves at 80 than they ever have before. All the roles and expectations that once defined you become optional, and you get to choose which ones still serve you and which ones you're ready to release. This isn't about becoming selfish or inconsiderate. It's about becoming genuinely yourself, which often makes you more interesting, more honest, and more valuable to the people around you. The paradox is striking. At the same time your physical capabilities may be more limited, your emotional and spiritual freedom expands dramatically. These 5 transformations represent something extraordinary, the possibility that turning 80 isn't the beginning of decline, but the start of your most authentic, intentional, and fulfilling chapter yet. Your energy patterns teach you efficiency and purposefulness. Your social evolution guides you toward meaningful connections. Your new relationship with time brings clarity about what truly matters. Your cognitive changes trade speed for wisdom and insight. And your growing authenticity allows you to finally become fully yourself. When you see these changes as natural evolution rather than loss, you can work with them instead of fighting against them. The 80-year-old who embraces their new energy rhythms, cultivates deeper relationships, prioritizes consciously, values wisdom over speed, and lives authentically often reports higher life satisfaction than they've experienced in decades. This isn't about accepting decline, it's about recognizing transformation. Your 80-year-old self isn't a diminished version of your younger self. It's a specialized version, optimized for different but equally valuable capabilities and experiences. Which of these 5 transformations surprised you most? Share your thoughts below. Your experience helps our entire community understand what this life stage can really offer. Your most authentic chapter is just beginning. Thank you so much for staying with me through this exploration. If you found value in today's discussion, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who might benefit from it.